We are brought to you today by Kai CBD, a Las Vegas-based health and wellness brand that crafts a full-spectrum CBD hemp-derived product line. Made with 100% love, the brand was created by a 20-year licensed massage therapist for her husband who suffers from chronic pain. Healing is what Kai lives for. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram and mention Pop Culture Corner to receive 10% off your order of all or any of their CBD-derived product line. Guys, their website is in the works. Head over to their Facebook or Instagram. The links are in the description below. Mention Pop Culture Corner and get 10% off. This ad is an easy one for me. Easy, as I use the products myself. They are wonderful. So head over, mention Pop Culture Corner, and get 10% off your order of all orders forever. We are brought to you today by Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Bonk specializes in seafood and good times. If you're in the Philly area, make sure to stop by, and on Tuesdays, our resident producer Jack hosts trivia at the bar. Mention Pop Culture Corner to Jack and receive your first drink on the house. For more information about the menu or specials, visit the website for Bonks or their social media pages. All of the links are in the description below. This was an easy one, guys. Head out, support your local service industry. Go to Bonks, grab some seafood, some beer and wine, play some trivia, and have a good time.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and genders of all ages here in the United States, on social media and across the globe, or all aflat the globe, if that's what you believe. I am GetJacked141, and welcome to Quick Tip. And joining me is from Las Vegas, Nevada, Austin Lean 316. Welcome.
That's right. What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to Quick Tip. What's up, Jack? What's up, Billy? Adam? Tyler, what's up?
There we go. We got Adam from yesterday. Right. Adam, I believe, is one of our new Patreons. Yeah, and Billy's a Patreon too. And
right. I think we have a list of new Patreons.
Oh, and look at that. Austin, I've been calling you by the wrong name this entire time. Your name is Drip.
I'm Big Drip tonight.
Yeah, you're Big Drip tonight. Drip Big.
That's right. Because I totally...
There we go.
That's exactly what
we'll call you. Well, you know what? I'll make a decision right now. We'll call you Austin just for now. So there we go.
Sounds good. There we go. We'll go with that. Real quick, Land of the Dead Army. That's right. That's right. Well, guys, what's up? What's up, everybody? We got a fun show planned for everyone today. Before we get started, we have a special guest, but we got some fun little pieces of news to go over. Starting with. DC Fandom is coming back.
DC Fandom? What? Oh, it's coming back in October. And you know what? It's crazy to think about it, that it's going to be, the last one was in August, so it's going to be almost a year.
I know.
Since they did that first panel, we got to see a trailer for the Batman. We got to see an introduction to the Suicide Squad. And we got our first trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. In some ways, it felt like it took forever, and it's kind of came and went. And now we're... yes, that's what we're talking about. It's crazy to think about how time flies and also takes forever.
Right.
That's the weird thing about the lockdown.
We're right back at it, man. And what's great is we got, I think, we have a whole another year, or almost a year until the Batman comes out. So
yeah,
we have a long ways. But I'm excited, man. I really enjoyed last year's DC Fandom. I actually thought they did a phenomenal job. Did you watch the whole thing? And
oh yeah, I watched the
cool,
trailer
cool.
live. I mean,
come on, man.
When they showed that trailer,
yeah,
hallelujah. By the way, HBO's taking both of them down. They took the original one down and did. So luckily I did some Jack Sparrowing, and I have a copy of it.
Right.
Not on my computer, somewhere far away in case the feds are listening. But
right.
It's amazing how time flies. So look, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to. But he brought up something I was going to leave towards later. But if we don't get an announcement on DC Fandom, I'm going 180 on WB because you said the same thing earlier today.
Franco said he's out, and I agree, man. If DC says nothing about the Snyderverse, then I don't think it's good. It's a good news thing. So I think I will say this though. Until then, let's be patient. Let's continue to have hope. Let's continue to tweet. Restore the Snyderverse. Yeah. But that will probably be our defining date as to what is going to happen with this. And again, I know people right now are already jumping the gun, canceling HBO Max. Now, look, it's only been a month and a half. Yeah. This is almost 6 months away. Give it some time. Let the negotiations happen. Things don't happen overnight, and
crossed.
And we'll see in October. But Pryker brought up something interesting. You guys saw the shameless upload of the 4K Justice League by WD. I did see that shameless upload, and I would like to address that piece of crap. So WB decided they're going to re-release Justice League in 4K. Those sons of...
They already have it in 4K. I have it in 4K right there.
They're re-releasing it in 4K, and they released a trailer for the 4K release, and they used shots from Zack Snyder's Justice League in the Justice League trailer, and it is plagiarism at its finest.
Well, do you remember the trailers even after Joss Whedon took over? Those trailers in like mid to late 2017, they still use some of Zack Snyder's footage. And we're like, where the hell is it?
To bait us. I can't breathe, Jack. I'm very upset. I'm very, very upset. All right.
That blows my mind.
If you guys saw this trailer, you would be as upset as I am. Like, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's upsetting.
I don't know if I want to see, because it'll probably piss me off. Because like, I'm very 50-50 about what's going to happen.
Right.
Come October. I think it could happen, but with each passing day, all we hear about is how, everything is doing well on HBO Max, but they don't talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I don't know. Yeah. And Prakash is saying, let's crash Netflix and inquire if Showcase will have Army of the Dead. Netflix never crashes. I don't think Netflix has crashed, has it?
Those guys, I don't know where they have them, but they got servers. They got servers on servers on servers.
Because they're still the biggest streaming site. They're still bigger than Disney, I think.
Right.
In terms of streaming service.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're over 200 million subscribers.
Yeah.
But you think we'll have to wait till October for the Flash trailer? We'll probably get it around then. DC does have a habit of dropping these trailers unusually far ahead of their release. The Batman, if you remember Suicide Squad, we got that trailer a whole year before it came out. Same with Justice League. So I mean, they have a habit of giving us trailers way far in advance. I didn't watch the trailer, just went to the dislike and comment. For your health and safety, that is probably the best idea. Yeah. I near had a heart attack.
I didn't know that happened.
I was Could
you imagine if they never released it on 4K DVD, the Zack Snyder Justice League?
Exclusively on HBO
Max.
They are going to release it on you. I'm pretty sure they're going to.
I hope so. I just bought the 4K Batman Superman, and that looks amazing. The actual updated 4K.
I'm not going to. So here's the thing: it sold out like in 10 seconds, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not waiting." So I just bought the digital version. I'll go buy a physical copy once it's
It really looks nice. The aspect ratio does change sometimes, but it looks really nice.
The 4K digital copy that I have is wow. wow. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I would love to get a physical copy of Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, just to see how it looks. But
yes.
So look, at that point, here's how we'll know if we'll know something. If Zack has a panel, because look, they may still say no, and they still give him a panel to do like I don't know, have the cast of Justice League on. If there's no announcement for a Zack Snyder panel, or at least a surprise panel,
we'll see, man. We'll see. I think I'm trying to think. The big highlights will probably end up being the Flash, because that's coming. We have Black Adam as shooting, and probably by October, Suicide Squad will already have been out. So we'll probably get maybe our first look at the Peacemaker series or something like that. But other than that, I'm trying to think. Aquaman 2 starts shooting soon, so we may get a first look at Aquaman 2.
Yeah. Aquaman 2. And I'm thinking, what else? Is there anything else DC related coming out? Besides like animated stuff.
We'll probably get another the Batman trailer. A lot more updates on that, and then possibly some updates on that Gotham PD series that is also coming. That's connected to the Batman.
Oh yeah,
So we'll see. I mean, there's definitely things to talk about. I think, but what will be the spotlight of DC fandom this year will be the Flash. It's going to be the Flash.
Really? You don't even think it'll be the Batman?
Nah. Batman will be huge. It will be huge. But the Flash, you got to understand, the Flash for all of the Snyder fans, right, is for us what's going to determine if we're going to stick around or not. I mean, truly, if we're not going to get a restore the Snyderverse, and they're going to completely switch the Flash around and not acknowledge or do any of the stuff that Zack did, it's that's going to be the talk of the town for sure. And so all eyes are on the Flash for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much possible Suicide Squad ends up being amazing and helps create hype.
Sure.
Let's say Suicide Squad the Suicide Squad ends up being a big deal this summer and everyone's talking about it. But I don't see the hype for this that I saw for the first one. Remember that first trailer, the 2 trailers that dropped, the whole world was talking about it?
Yeah. I mean, There's I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm sure James has a lot of things that we don't know about yet. But I'll tell you what, it's frustrating. All of this is frustrating. James came out and said that DC basically gave him permission to kill any character that he wanted. And Zack had to leave Green Lantern and Kilowog out of Justice League. So, these guys, they're all twisted over there. The executives, I don't think any of them know what they're doing. And at this point,
do you think we'll maybe see something about the Green Lantern show?
Possibly. We've been hearing we're going to hear something about the Green Lantern show for a year.
Yeah.
I kid you not that I've been hearing we're going to hear something about, like, every 2 weeks there's like Green Lantern news is coming. Never heard anything about. Geoff Johns has been working on this thing for almost 2-3 years. It was supposed to be a movie. Now it's a show. What the hell is happening? You couldn't give John to Zack. I'm getting upset. The blood pressure's raising. Help.
Well, maybe what Lily Roberts is talking about, maybe this guy can help, because this is we're probably going to see something, hopefully.
Right.
Last time we saw kind of an intro with just like animated stuff, but this is from last year's DC fandom. I hope he has as much influence as I think he does in my mind to
Look at
get
those pets.
Yeah, I know, right?
Christ,
this dude he's definitely on something, because he was not this big in 1999. Now this is fan art, but it was kind of
Oh, that is not whoa. What happened to his face?
He kind of looks like a Vulcan there.
Oh man.
Just have him say live long and prosper, bitch, and just like punches someone. But
Parker, I have not listened yet, but I was going to later today when I had some more time. Zack Snyder was on Justin Long's podcast, and I wanted to hear that. My favorite part of the fandom first time, obviously. Hallelujah. Yeah, Zack Snyder. I can't sing that. Yeah, I can't beat that.
I actually learned how to play it on the guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll maybe learn some operatic.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw the Batman trailer afterwards, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's also coming out." Thank you.
That was also very, very cool for me. That was also.
I liked it, but I can't get. I don't know. His voice kind of reminded me of Christian Bale a little bit, like I'm
vengeance. Come on, man.
I was like, man, they got to go with the synthesizer. Like that's why Affleck's is so good. They purposely,
they did the voice changer thing.
I'm like, now they have to do that all the time because that makes sense,
Really, you're a big. I got used to it, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it in the beginning.
Because
I go back to
kind of scary. I don't know.
I take myself back to I love Kevin Conroy's Batman, dude.
Well, he's a voice actor. He's a voice actor. What pains me, WB or hypocrites? Did you guys listen to Zach's interview? So that's what Justin Long. Okay, is Justin Long?
Justin Long was he's a comedian. He was a comedian. I haven't seen him in anything in a while. He was an actor.
Was he in Dodgeball? Is that who I'm thinking of?
He was in Dodgeball. He was the mustache. Yeah.
Because I was like, I think that's who it is, but I didn't know he had a podcast or anything like that.
Right.
It looks like Joss Whedon, Black Adam. Yeah, just a lot of jokes. What is this? Check out all the yoinks at all his links.
Check out the yoinks. The yoinks is the gamer that's coming.
Oh, yoinks is coming up. So
oh, come on, dude.
I call him Kennedy because I'm cool with him like that,
Yeah, whatever.
But let's take a look before he gets here. Let's just go over that a little bit. That's you and him. So tell us about him.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, that is us. We've probably known each other for 10 years now, over 10 years. That was taken I think our freshman year of high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
2 years ago. Okay.
Basically, yeah. Ty saved that pick for later. I'm a little concerned about that, but no. So yeah. Anyways, I went to school with his real name is Kennedy Mason. He goes by the Yoinks. He has a Twitch stream. He's a gamer, and I've known him for a long time. He's incredibly smart, and he's done a lot. He's been a lawyer. He's done sales.
Oh, wow.
He's not been a lawyer, but he's studied law, and that was something that both him and I were, for a second I thought about as well. But so yeah, we've done a lot of interesting. We've been in plays. We've done mock trial. We've done a lot. And we've kind of now found our, with me doing YouTube and him, he's been doing the streaming I think for almost a year now. We both kind of found our niche, and so yeah, it'd be cool to have him on and talk.
Well, speak of the devil, he is here, so we're gonna pull him in, and this time I'm going to make sure I get the correct one.
Right.
There we go.
What's up,
there he is.
Oh, dude, I love it. Easy eating, I love it.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, man?
Kennedy, how are you? My name is Jack.
Jack, it's great to meet you, man.
Great to meet you too. Holy crap! Listen to that voice. Damn.
I know, isn't it so? It's the most soothing thing. We're gonna have you do an audible for us one day.
The Yoink single coming out, bro.
Have him do the ad reads for us.
Right.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be on. You guys are so kind for having me. Thank you a lot.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man. I'm super excited about this. So, all right. So where to begin? There's a lot. We've known each other for a while. I brought up kind of the first time we met was we had private school orientation, and it was a private Christian school, and so of course there was a little worship band that comes on, starts singing, praise the Lord, hallelujah, whatever, all that good stuff. And as soon as they started, they were like, everybody stand and all that. And I think I said something like, oh, here we go, or something like that. And you turned around, put your hand out and said, hi, I'm Kennedy Mason. And it was the start of a great friendship from that point on. But you've done a lot. We've done a lot, kind of leading up to where we are now, right? So, you've done stuff like you've studied law, you've been in the retail space and sales, gamer space, obviously. What kind of things have you learned and taken away that's brought you to this point? That kind of, because you tried a lot of things before deciding you were going gamer.
Yeah, I mean,
even though you've always been really good at gaming.
Yeah, I've always played games. I mean, I only picked up like computer, like mouse and keyboard FPSs like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I played on like a laptop when I was a kid, stuff like that, or like Xbox. But being in Twitch is, part of it's being really good at the video game. Once COVID started, I got a new game that I started playing, and I played it literally 7 days a week at some point and put in an insane amount of hours on it. I've got since COVID started, I've put in 3,800 hours into this game.
Oh, wow.
So insane amount, most of it being on stream. So you're practicing the game while also using all those other things. The mock trial that I used to do, and then going into law offices and going into courtrooms. And I used to represent in youth courts. There was a program where youth were able to represent trial by peers for other kids. I kind of got swept past the application process for that because of my mock trial background. And being in front of people all day is just a good thing. And then after that, going into sales and having to learn how to work with people and how to discuss with people and what they need and how to get a reaction out of people, how to make people feel something. That's what it comes down to. If you can be a horrible video game player but be a very successful streamer by knowing how to make people feel good in that moment, excited, provide something for them that otherwise they're not getting right then. And so, you take a little bit of everything you've done in life. Every person you talk to, you remember what works, what doesn't, because you make a lot of mistakes along the way. As I have failed upwards my whole fucking life. I will always screw up and then take something from that. So, continuing to do that is in everything you do, you can always apply it again. I was a chess player for a while, and I apply that to streaming too.
But
I would. Yeah. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, so I was just saying, that's kind of like you said. You worked in sales. That's kind of what sales is always about. They always say you got to sell yourself. Even if the product sucks and you sell yourself, people will buy it. If the product is great but you're not confident in selling it, people won't buy it. And I never really thought about that. That if you're a bad gamer, because I was like, I'd like to stream, but I'm not that great at online multiplayer. But so let me ask you this: Billy Roberts is asking, what's it like to be able to play video games for money?
Billy, that's a great question, bro. I mean, it's very recent for me that I've actually been able to do this. I quit school. I made the decision last month that I'm going to quit school and just focus on this 12, 16 hours a day, as opposed to doing it 12 hours and then spending 4 doing schoolwork after, spending 2 hours working on my back and yoga and shit, because your body is going to fail eventually doing that and then sleeping 6. It wasn't going to happen. Now, the fact that I can put every minute of every day into that, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where it's exhausting, bro, because it's not just playing video games. You got to do all the background stuff. But for those 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day that I'm streaming, it is, I mean, you just, I wake up every morning and I'm grateful as hell. I immediately have to recognize, I go through the process of what things are going well in my life and what makes me happy. And I can gratefully say the things that I'm doing for a job right now, the things that the background effort I've learned to love. Being able to throw yourself into every aspect of something as best as you can. That's what I did with sales until it stopped working. Now I found something that makes people feel good and I get to do it. It's not like a bottom line thing. It's how do I make people excited every day? That's a really cool job to have. Even beyond just playing video games, making people happy.
Working full time, one of the things in the last few years, especially out of college, is working and trying to game. And sometimes you're exhausted, not from gaming, but just in college, I used to be Modern Warfare was big. You'd put 8 hours in nothing. But when you're working a full day and you're doing how many hours you said? 12 hours?
I was streaming 8 hours. I was doing about 3 to 4 hours of editing and networking. And then I was spending about 4 hours a day doing homework 7 days a week to make it work. And then I'm a part-time caretaker for my dad. So then I'd sleep somewhere between 4 to 6 hours.
I think we have 3 caretakers here today, because that's what I also do. I picked it up during COVID. So my mom was a caretaker. My mom was a caretaker, and then during COVID I couldn't work, so she said, "Why don't you get certified? They'll give you free certification and training. Try it." I was like, "All right, I'll do it for a couple of weeks," but I've been doing it since this last summer, and I'm still doing it, and I kind of enjoy it. So we got 3 caretakers every day. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Here we go. Prakesh is asking, how do you decide? Go ahead.
Before we get to that question, I kind of want to go back because Billy asked a question. What do you do on Twitch? So in simple terms, what game do you play on Twitch? What do you do on there? What's the basics?
Yeah, this will actually go into Prakash. I hope I said that name correctly. I apologize, Mr. and Mrs. Swain.
I butcher it every day, and I feel so bad, but he still likes us. So,
dude, I'm from
thanks.
I sound like a mix between a Cali surfer dude and someone that got dropped on their head too many times, and both can be true. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, but I play video games for a living. That's what you could expect from me. But you need to I decided a game that I could play every day that I wouldn't get tired of. And if you want to grow from nothing in Twitch, you don't have another following somewhere else. That's what you have to be willing to do. Is essentially 6-7 days a week, one single game, hours and hours a day, put context elsewhere. You can't, if you try and do variety, you split your community. Some people don't show up to some streams. You never get the traction. You need something else to blow you up if that's the case. I found one that I could keep improving at. I wouldn't get upset about all day. I could honestly say I want to improve at this even when it's hard to do so. And that I can not be so, maulding angry that I can still have good conversation with people and get to know them. So you need to find something that you can do both of those things consistently for a long time. That's hard.
Rage quit every 5 minutes. Yeah, every 10 minutes.
So
that's true.
How about this question then?
There we go.
How do you decide? You said you pick a game. The game you're talking about, why that one? Why not do what everyone else is doing, like Modern Warfare or Call of Duty, rather, Fortnite? Why go with the game you picked?
So I am a competitive player in my field. I was in some tournaments. I've been in the two largest, it's called Escape from Tarkov tournaments that have been around. The prize pools were I think a total of 15, 20. It was 15,000 a region. So there's 3 regions in the world. And I made some money off of one of them because I placed 4th out of the top 100 in North America. The next tournament I did less well. The game is not in a very competitive state. There's a lot of things that go wrong with it. It's still a beta. And I did less well. I got 35th out of the top 120, which is still decent, but not prize pool type. You need to find something, if you want to get big, you need to find something that you can have constant content for, either through your gameplay, which is I can do to a certain extent. I can always play the game in a way that other people can't. Call of Duty, Fortnite, there's going to be a million streamers that can do what I do better. There's going to be literally hundreds of 17-year-old, 12-hour a day ADHD sugar in their cereal gamers that can flick a mouse around just insane cracks players that I won't be able to keep up with. So I really would have to rely on my personality. It'll be harder to grow. Finding a niche that is not as saturated, finding something that you can kind of make your own, that is what's going to do it. And you're going to improve at every part of it. Like someone just said that, I couldn't stream. I'm not interesting enough. Mm-hmm. You are going to have to. I sucked at streaming when I started. If you look at my analytics, the first 8 months of it was 3 people, 4 people average, 7 people average, 10 people, and then suddenly 30, 100, 700 at one point until my back got injured and I had to take a long break off. And now I'm back at 80, 100 people now. You have to improve the craft. It's a lot of practice time before you see the results.
Let me ask you this: in something like that, does it help to sort of be willing to poke fun at yourself? Like if you're playing a game and you screw up, and instead of being whoops, oh, now they're going to attack me, my idea is no, double down on yourself to kind of, and people will like that. Have you found that as a good tactic?
100%. I mean, the best players, there's some of them that are just the best, the top 5 players that don't take that route. They actually get upset and mauled, and people kind of dig it. They have an audience for that. Mm-hmm. It limits them 100%. They could be even bigger than they are now if not for it. Versus if you take a big YouTuber personality that plays a lot of games and just streams this one, but he knows how to laugh at his mistakes, and his mistakes are content, not just his successes. That's about that constant content in some way. And that's you're exactly on the right track is how do I turn the things that happen bad into something that people still want to see? And that's it. You lean into everything. It's like improv. Always yes
like improv.
And.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing we did. Improv. That's what I'm saying, man. It's so cool, and you are a very humble person. I will say I've watched this kid game since high school. He's very good at all the games. He did League of Legends. He did all the. He's good. I know he's really really good. But that's another thing too. I kind of want to talk about. You, I've found, have always been. Whatever Austin is okay. Austin's subpar at games. Austin also talks about himself in the third person. So, but you've I kind of lost my train of thought with that. Jack, did you have a question?
Often, bro.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about this game, because I'm a gamer. I never heard of this one. He was mentioned, he plays this game. I'm like, what game is that? Tell us a little bit about the game. What's it called? You mentioned the title, but
Since high school, Billy. Since high school.
Escape from Tarkov is a looter shooter. So you load into what's called a raid, or like a match, with anywhere from 1 to, I think you can pull up to 5 teammates in one game. You're gonna get pit against, depending on the map, there's like 7 that you can choose from, and they're still adding more. You're gonna get pit against however many players on the map. That could be solo, like I generally play by myself, or up to those 5 people that I have to kill all at once or die. And it's very brutal. The thing about Escape from Tarkov is it's probably the most like hardcore brutalizing, one tiny mistake, it kills you game. The guns are very hard to use. You have to get everything yourself, the loot on the map. You got to learn how you spawn, where the other players spawn. There's a lot of mind games to it beyond just like a Call of Duty, like
where it's an arcade. Yeah.
The deaths are very punishing, and that's hard not to get upset about when it's like, okay, I just died. Now I have to spend 10 minutes getting ready again to get back into this shit.
So here's a question. Some people stream on YouTube, but gamers prefer Twitch. Any reason you picked Twitch and not YouTube? I know that Twitch is now kind of in, right? But there was a time where YouTube was the thing. That's
actually, I think, a mistake of my own.
Yeah.
I think that if I started streaming not on Twitch, but on YouTube or Facebook from like a zero platform, I would have done better. And then you transition to Twitch later. If you're serious about it, what you should probably do is give up all of the money on all platforms. Don't get affiliated anywhere. That's what Twitch is called, is you get affiliated so people can subscribe and donate like what's called bits to you. Give that up so that you can legally buy their TOS, stream on multiple platforms. And Twitch has a really bad system for like pushing new content. If you don't have any viewers, it's pretty much impossible to get them naturally through the website. YouTube and Facebook and whatever else smaller website, even they can push people without any following into analytics and into algorithms a bit better. That's why social media is so important. I use Twitch because everybody knows it. Because if I put in my in-game name, twitch.tv the Yoinks, people are going to know the website. They're going to click on the link. I can just put the Yoinks TTV and people will be like, oh, this guy streams on Twitch, and then just type it in themselves. That's why I started, and I think I made a mistake. I think I would have seen better growth if I started elsewhere.
Okay.
Very cool. And that's the next question was, you mentioned earlier, we've done a lot, and I think I've always found that you've been like naturally good at things. Maybe that's not true. You just make it look easy. But what finally made you come around to gaming? You did all these other things. You tried all these other things. That again, on the outside looked like you enjoyed or did well at. You did do well at them. So what made you come to choose this?
So I started Twitch streaming when COVID first hit. My family was very high risk. We didn't know a lot about COVID at that point. And I was, of course, I'm going to protect my family above all else. So I was like, well, I can't go out anymore. I can't do these things until we figure out more of what's up. And what can I do sitting on my hands? I've always watched gaming streams or YouTube channels or something. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be sitting here doing school for half of the day and then playing video games for the rest of it because I'm so fucking bored, give it a try. Like, this could be a dream. Like, I don't even know what it feels like to be a Twitch streamer full time. I have no idea. Maybe I just don't like it and give up at it. But I feel like I am personable.
Well,
I enjoy
this
video
question.
games.
Is this something you see yourself doing forever?
Yeah. I mean, I want to grow out of Tarkov because you have to. If you want to be a forever streamer, you need to have a Twitter, an Instagram, a TikTok. I've got every social media out there, the YouTube, and then you have to try and build as big of an audience with that one little focus that you can, and then start saying, well, this thing's going to die eventually. People aren't going to watch this one thing forever. How do I transition this audience into something else? So that's what the kind of, I see myself doing that. That's the goal. It's a lot harder to do than say is all.
Yeah. Well, you see, I mean, I see guys like Ninja. Ninja's like associated as soon as I think Ninja, I think Fortnite. So do you think too, it's kind of, you can also be put like in a box of not being able to get out of playing that or doing that same thing?
Yeah, I'm in the box right now. If I were to switch, I'm like I'm averaging like this month starting and last month I can like be a partner and stuff, and kind of at the point where it's reasonable to say like this is livable money for a bit. With this, if I were to say I want to start streaming other games, every time I do, my viewership will probably go down to less than a third of where it's at when I do Escape from Tarkov. You have to blow past that. You essentially have to outgrow the game in order to get to that point. And your appeal can't just be gameplay. Otherwise, you're just going to put yourself in another box. If your appeal is just, I'm insane at this game, and now I want to transition, okay, well, I'm just going to have to be insane at something else, which means I have to play that 12 hours a day, all day, practice that, become a top tier player, and then do it all over again. And that's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. So what game like did it for you growing up? What are the games that was like? I know for sure League of Legends. I'll throw that out there. But was that the only one, or what other games inspired you, led you to like, get into all of this?
My first video games were with my family. It was like PlayStation 1, Crash Bandicoot, or like Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the Nintendos and things like that. It was the real old school Zeldas on the SNES. But after that, the first times I got a taste of like competitive gaming was League of Legends and console games. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 for like beer league money. I was lying about my age so that I could join these things at like 14 when you had to be 18 plus because it was for money. There was wagers. And I, back when MLG was like first the thing, like that was like the bare level, like that made me love competition. And then, I did competition and all sorts of stuff outside of video games, and I'm finally getting back to it, and it feels awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you about Modern Warfare 2 because that was a game I was a master at just because at the time I was in college, but college schedule is a little bit easier. You got more free hours in the morning, afternoon. And when I went back to play Call of Duty after school, I just sucked at it because I didn't have the time to put in the hours like I used to. I'm kind of curious about, you talked about, doing yoga and the health aspect of it. Gaming can take a toll. Do you ever feel that toll? A lot of hours. I remember my friends used to play so much they would get like calluses on their hands. Anything like that at all?
So I'm a bit of a like unique circumstance. I'm 23, but I've always had I've had back issues. And in January, I took a trip snowboarding and I got like 2 herniated discs and a big back sprain.
Ooh.
So it took me, I couldn't sit for more than about 10 minutes at a time without like just nauseating pain. Like it was over. Like I couldn't do it. So I had to stop streaming, cut all the momentum off for that, and then like rebuild. These days I am very conscious about my body's health because I realize even with like wrists and stuff, if you're playing with a mouse and keyboard or a controller all day, you're going to eventually deal with wrist strain. The things you have to do for that is you need to stand up every like 20, 30 minutes that you can. So between all my games, like my chat has like a little redemption thing to remind me to stretch it out, take a walk, do all the simple stuff with your wrists and things like that. Because if you want to make this forever, that's something, it will stop you. Like there's no just willing yourself past those things. So I have like a rehab program that I go to 3 times a week. I have a yoga routine that I'm doing like 3 times a day. And I probably invest like 2 hours a day into making sure my body's going to be able to keep up with this. Most people don't need that much. Most people just need like an exercise every 2 days and stretch every day. Do your best to stand up every 30 minutes and take a walk. You do those things, you're probably going to be fine until you're old enough that your reaction speed's so slow anyways that you can't be competitive. So it's fine, I'll be 50.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, let's going back to kind of you're talking about like you regret starting on Twitch, right? And seeing how and that's one thing I've noticed, like Facebook gaming has become super popular. Like I'll be on Facebook and I'll just have tons of suggestions to watch Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I will watch it for like an hour for some reason. But why do you think these other sites like Facebook and YouTube and all that? Why do you think they're being, they're better to get started on instead of Twitch? And if you are starting, how do you build that following from zero? How did you do it?
So it's like a full front attack. So the way that people thought that I was a big streamer before I was, because when they go on Twitter and look at Escape from Tarkov hashtags or like what Battlestate talked about, they'd see my face somewhere in there. then they'd go on YouTube videos and they'd try and see my face somewhere on there sometimes. And then they'd go onto Instagram and they'd see me commenting on people's stuff. And so like the best thing you can do is branch out in every direction and talk to as many people as you can. Support people that you think are worth supporting, basically. I go on Twitter, I find accounts that I'm like, oh, this guy posts about the game I play and I like what he posts. So I'm just going to start liking his stuff and commenting. And then I'm going to post all of my clips. That's a great one, is making sure that whatever snippets of video game footage you can, go on TikTok, post one in the morning and then one in the night. And, be consistent. That's the biggest thing. You have to be willing to make this like an everyday thing. Sometimes that means giving up stuff you want to do otherwise. Sometimes that means you got to spend all day editing so that you have a week's worth of content to do a vacation. Sometimes it means, disappointing. Like, I mean, I have a girlfriend while I'm doing this. Luckily, she streams too. But sometimes we're like, I'm so sorry. I know you need shit right now, but this opportunity is like right now. I just got like 800 people in my chat that came from a homie. Like, I have to keep going right now. Otherwise, what's the point? And you have to be willing to really adjust your life to it. So if you're willing to work 8 to 10 hours a day, adjust your life, improve yourself, then maybe, because everybody wants to make a living playing video games. So you have to do more than just play video games to do it,
Yeah. Well, it's very much like this, you have to put 8-10 hours into this, into doing videos, putting out content, whatever. Like you said, going and finding subjects and topics, like Batman or DC or whatever, interacting with people, getting them to come watch the shows and stuff. But you just mentioned, like, what is that like? Like, how do you interact with 800 people in a chat?
Yeah.
And like, where do you even begin when there's 800 people?
So it's to be clear, like that's kind of a rare, like, 2-3 times a month I have an experience like that. At most I've had like 7,000 people in my chat at once. That was like the height of what I did when I did my big tournament. You got to pick and choose. You can't read everybody's comments. I've got this massive long boy monitor that's like sideways on my computer so that I can catch as much as I can. But you have to balance conversing with people that say something interesting and also keeping the gameplay alive. So you need to find times where I can take a small break from focusing on my gameplay to divert my attention. And then sometimes I need to be willing to say that comment is nice, but not really, I don't have anything to say about it. I'm just going to try and find something really fast that I can. Frankly, it's like a multitasker ADHD dream. Like that's
I was going to say, like, how do you do that? Do you have a setup where like you can see the comments on your screen, or how does it work?
Yeah, I can. Here, tell you what, this is going to be a little scuffed, but let me switch my camera around and I'll show you like what my setup looks like from the backside here. So I've got 3 monitors on my computer. I'm looking at, R1 right here. This is the one I game on. I've got this exceptionally long one that covers my chat and like Stream Element software. Wow. And I have another monitor over here that's ultra wide so that I can talk about, like, I can have my music, I can have my Twitter feed up, I can have my if I'm playing with other people, the apps I use to discuss with them up, So like normally it's about kind of building muscle memory with all of it. Like every 5 seconds, remembering to look this way, dealing with like making sure I mute my Discord to not like be hot micing in someone's ear while I talk to chat and like I have to look over there every 10 seconds, you really have to make a process for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and you've got the whole setup there. You've got the whole thing. And I've been there too. I mean, how do you choose, I guess, which interactions you're gonna engage with? Because everybody's trying, I guess, to get your attention, and so are you kind of, I guess it's kind of like theater. Are you playing off of them and using, or how do you choose your engagement and all that?
I am like,
because there's got to, I guess to put it this way, there's got to be people in there that are giving you a hard time, right? And like, how do you choose to engage those people and not just ignore them or blow them off?
So I'm kind of weird. I would not suggest to do what I do, but I was in sales for a long time, and rejection means nothing to me. I've talked to more women that have said no to me than most people have talked to women. they pretty much don't like me. It's, you know, it's a numbers game, baby. That's what they all used to say. So I deal with the fact that there's a lot of people in this world that aren't going to be a fan of me, and I really have come to accept that that's fine. It takes time to get there. So my trolls and the people that come in and talk negative stuff, I turn it into content personally. I laugh with them. I think it's hysterical. Like, that is enjoyable to me that they want to spend their time being negative. And I would never prioritize them over the people that are positive in chat, because those guys deserve the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's more of like a guilty pleasure that I take pride in, I guess. But mostly what I want to do is I want to find the people that are impacted by my content. Like, both because it makes me happy to impact people, but also because those are the people that like should be here. The ones that like actually connect with me. They're the ones that belong in my community and that I want to keep talking with. If it's just kind of like nice sort of, like if they don't really care, they're just kind of there for a minute, I'm thankful for that you checked me out. But if you're not excited about my content, that's okay. Like, there's a reason there's a million Twitch streams, and I want you to find one that makes you the happiest. I don't want you to settle.
Right.
It's interesting you mentioned the sales analogy, like with women or whatever. I've always used that analogy when I was in sales, baseball. If you're hitting 300, that means you fail 70% of the time. Mm-hmm. But that means also that you're one of the better hitters, you know, that you fail. And you have to look at it that way. You know, you don't look at it like I got to get 9 out of 10. Start with getting 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. So I actually like that analogy you used.
Right. And that's a good question. Kind of, were there any other, like, any creators or anybody that inspired you, you know, as you were kind of getting started and where you are now? Was there, or I also know you are the type of guy to just kind of create it yourself. You know, you are that type of person. So how did that all come about?
I didn't have anyone going into streaming. I was like, this guy is like it for me. I actually didn't watch a lot of like one content creator. I just kind of like watched stuff that popped up on my feed. But one guy that like he's done so much for me was the guy that put on the tournament. He's one of the largest Tarkov creators. His name is Pastilli. Okay. He puts out like 2 YouTube videos a day, every day, puts out guides. He streams. He does 48-hour streams sometimes. He has set records like crazy. He's like the hardest worker in the world. And everybody that knows him in his circle, that's what you hear them say about it on their podcasts, is how hard he goes for all of this, what he's willing to do. So the fact that he does that makes me want to do it. The fact that he then recognized that I have something, and when I go into his chat with 5,000 people, he'll notice me and ask me questions and stuff and still connect with individuals that he likes. Like, wow, I want to be just like that. I want to be the person that no matter how big I am, if there's an individual that connects with me, that I get to have that connection. So he really inspired me in a lot of ways.
That's awesome. Yeah, kind of same with us. You know, we have a lot of people on YouTube. We jump in and like, it's cool when they recognize you and start interacting with you.
You guys do awesome with it, by the way. I did check out some stuff, and you guys are doing a fantastic job of working hard, putting out content, staying consistent, being personal. Like, you guys are on the exact same roadmap.
Maybe you could answer our question from our creator. What's the industry like in gaming as opposed to like what we do? You know, YouTubers, podcasters. Both, I feel like, you know, it's hard to break in, but once you find a niche audience, I feel like what you do would be a lot harder, because I feel like maybe I'm wrong. It's more challenging.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that you guys have it pretty difficult. Podcasting, especially, is a really saturated market too. Twitch has blown up through COVID, don't get me wrong. But like, my brother is a podcaster for a Star Trek thing. And he has you have to have. Can
you put me in touch with him? I'm trying to get some Star Trek content on this show.
Hell yeah.
None of these guys watch Star Trek.
I mean, he's put out hundreds of episodes to get traction. That means each one being 30 minutes to an hour. He has spent hundreds of hours just in the studio, not even editing, before he got somewhere with it. So I see how like competitive it is. I think that you have to fall in love with it. I mean, I don't know how different it is for someone to talk about Star Trek and commentate it versus play a video game as far as their personal enjoyment. I'd have a hard time staying as invested as I do with like a video game. But if you're the type of person that's going to get bored of video games and never get bored of that, I see it pretty similar.
Put him in touch with me.
There we go.
I want to cover some Star Trek. Yeah, I could do Star Trek for hours.
Yeah. We were just talking about that today, so that's funny. And then another question that I thought was interesting too: where did the name the Yoinks come from? I gotta ask that.
No joke. I literally a while ago actually, I streamed like one time. I made an account and then like didn't do anything with it. And it was Brother Yoinks, I think, because I used to say Yoinks as like a I don't know, like an impression thing, like, oh, yoinks, bro. That's wild, dude. They're just kind of being weird and cringy.
That's
for
in a
fun.
cartoon or something. I don't know if I'm making
Simpsons.
that up. Simpsons, yeah.
Simpsons. And I didn't even realize that when I made the name.
Yeah.
I was just so surprised the yoinks wasn't taken as a name. I'm like, oh, I have to, right? Like, this has to be the one then if no one else has made this URL yet.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I mean, dude, yeah, you've always been very like creative in that sense and kind of like amplifying. Zoinks is from Scooby-Doo. Get it right, Tyler.
Zoinks is with a Z, yeah.
Sorry
Zoinks.
to call you out like that, dude. Sorry to call you out like that, but don't mess with my Scooby-Doo.
The Jinkies is from Scooby-Doo, though. You got that one going.
That's right. Jinkies okay. Jinkies okay. But yeah, I mean, you've always been very creative in like how you do things, right? And how you present, whether it's the name or the presentation, or even like your streams. When I watch some of your streams, you get very loud and animated, and like in people in the camera's face, and it's a lot of fun. It feels very interactive. But there was a question that I thought was really interesting too. But like in all that, are you looking to get any sponsors or does it just kind of like you're just kind of like, if it comes, it comes, and it's something I like, I'll go with it. But I mean, is there anything like you're doing to actively get things like sponsors or people to come to your channel like that?
I would like pages? To be, I definitely plan to be sponsored. The misconception people oftentimes have is that a sponsorship will help you like progress your career in some way. And it's not really that way. You're essentially selling to them their progression for money. That's what it comes down to most of the time. Sometimes if you're already like really big, you can get things out of sponsorships that are past that. They'll plug you in some ways. There was Tarkov creators that were sponsored by Butterfingers that played like a Halo Butterfingers day where they were in chat with them, plugging them on their Twitter and their socials and stuff. And that brought a whole bunch of stuff in for him. And that's awesome. But you have to be big enough to really bring something of value. If I were to go to a sponsorship right now, and I could have even before, it would be more like an affiliate program where I sell something for you guys and I get a cutback. And that's fine. Like, that's a good deal. If you have something you're proud of, and, like someone mentioned, as long as you don't sell out, like that's the move for you. I never like needed the money. I was always just kind of barely cutting it anyways. And so I would rather wait until I feel like I have something really big of value to provide to someone that they would come to me. All the people that have come to me, like you'll get a lot of people that want to give you a sponsorship. And it's basically like buy my gaming chair and then plug it on your page and I'll give you $15 if one sells again. And it's not a real sponsorship and you shouldn't take it. I'll ask people like, what are you paying me? And if the answer is nothing, I'll be like, don't lie to me then.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I get emails that are like, you have to respond within 24 hours. I'm like, I'm not going to read the rest of this email. Like, come right or don't come at all. Like, that's the perspective I would take.
Right. We had a gamer on a few weeks ago, and we talked about something that happened in I wasn't too aware of it. I was very actually unaware of it. This whole Gamergate thing, right, where there's this very toxic side, right, to the gamer community of people that do just crazy things. We're kind of living in a world too where kids more are getting into games as they're younger, and there's kind of this argument, are games a good thing or a bad thing, and I'm kind of curious what's your take on all that.
It's kind of like sports in a way. Besides, the physical like exertion is important of sports that you don't get from gaming, but you'll see two types of people in sports. You'll find the ones that like have composure and humility and like grinding and stuff like that, and you'll find the ones that push into that feeling of like negativity and stuff while they do it. And we jokingly refer to it as malding, like getting so angry and mad and try-harding all at the same time. I honestly think that gaming is fine, but if you're a bad parent and you just give your kids a video game and then don't watch them play it or hear how they react to people and then just let them keep doing it, you will reinforce negative habits in kids by letting them take their aggression out. That's not how it works, I don't think. I was that kid. It made me angrier. There we go. Angrier. It did not help me. I had to retrain myself later. And then now I'm much happier with it. But like, it's on parents to know what kind of games your kids are playing Your 6-year-old should not have GTA. They should not be able to just run over hookers all day at 6 years old and like normalize that in their mind. Like, I'm not saying GTA is bad at all, but if your kid is doing that, learning about drugs from video games, things like that, that's on you as a parent. You're exposing them to things and letting them have a negative outlet for it. That can be a positive outlet too. It can be a fun thing that you enjoy and put away and recognize that that was play. But you know, you need to draw that as a parent because these are kids. They're not able. They don't have the emotional maturity to do that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, you know, I think for a while there was a disconnect between parents and gaming. Like, I grew up with like GTA 3. My parents didn't know what GTA 3 was. You know, at the time, like, oh, cars and stuff. Oh, GTA, you know, you probably play as a cop stopping bad guys. They didn't know. They didn't ask. Now, obviously, but I remember there was a generational gap when games became more violent, more graphic, more adult oriented, and parents didn't know. Yeah. They're like, oh, what's this? The Last of Us. Sure, well, Billy, you're 4 years old. Go ahead and play that.
My mom knew because I straight up came home one day with The Godfather Part 2, the video game, and that was pretty obvious that was not a kid friendly game. Kennedy, have you heard of Gamergate? Do you know anything about
exactly, that? No.
Okay. I'm still also trying to figure out what it is, even though we had a very long conversation.
I followed it extensively, and I'm still not sure, but I know all the people who became popular because of it. And instead of learning about it, you will just get opinions about it. And it's one of those things. You ever try to look something up, and all you will get is one opinion or the other opinion. You're like, okay, well, what actually happened? I think what happened was someone in Kotaku was sleeping with someone and giving them positive reviews. Something like that.
I know about this. I do know about this. I didn't know that was the name of it.
I think it was Kotaku. Yeah.
Kotaku's had a weird history. Like, they've done some good things. They've done some bad things. It's a whole company now. It's not just like one person behind it. Yeah. I think that in general, it's going to always be click derived. That's what everything on the internet is leaning towards these days. They're going to keep doing insane stuff as long as people, like you said, talk about it everywhere. It's like, Kotaku's done some good stuff. Kotaku's done some bad stuff. Yeah. And I'm hoping that people start figuring out one day that they need to, like you said, go beyond I read this opinion. Mm-hmm. I read that opinion. The thing that comes after is what actually happened. I don't think people go to that point like you have.
Exactly. Like that's what I try to do. But, you know, going back to what you were saying about like kids getting like, you know, really vulgar with each other online, you know, I think it goes down to the fact, I think as people, we're all very competitive. But when we think of competition, we think, oh, that means you play sports or that you're a really good salesman or you're good at, I don't know, hunting women. I don't know, whatever. But they don't think that, like, okay, what if you're someone who's good at video games? You will, and you get good at it. You will get competitive. And all of a sudden, you know, when you hear like a chat room in a game like, I don't know, Call of Duty, I'm just using that because that's such a big example, and you hear the language going back and forth, it's not too dissimilar, although it's not as bad as like a locker room, you know, or a football locker room or any type of event where there's usually a lot of guys, mostly are guys there, and they get aggressive about something. And it's almost the same culture. And they think like, oh, my kid doesn't play sports. He's not competitive. And the thing is, he probably is. It's just that's not what he's competitive about. And there's something even in kids, they want to, they'll curse you out. And
well, and that was
there's a dissociation too, not having it in person. Just hearing
because you can't get punched in your face. You know, you do it at a bar, someone punches you, do it on the microphone, they ain't going to find you. The best you can do is call Sony and be like, this guy's yelling at me.
Report him.
What shocked me the most was hearing these stories of like kids like calling the SWAT team on somebody's house, getting the IP address, and like
I've gotten doxxed.
What?
Oh yeah,
no.
I've had stuff sent
tell
to
us
my
that
house.
story, please.
Yeah, we'll just go into that.
Some of them is hysterical actually, and the reason they screwed up is I knew who it was, and so I was able to take a pretty easy stance on it. But they were sending me stuff to my house. The funny one was extra small condoms. That one made me happy. That was like, that's clever. I like what you're going for. But I knew who it was. It was a hacker in the game I play that I had mentioned, like, hey, like I used to look up to this guy and respect him. I had no idea. We've never played together, but I like subscribed to him. It really sucks to hear. And he got in my DMs mad as hell. And he screwed up and exposed himself like 3 different ways, so everyone knew it. And he tried to make another Twitch account and it failed, and we exposed that too, and he got banned again. And his head admin was helping him with all of this, and that guy's pretty bad. So that guy found my address, and they were trying to do it in my Twitch chat, like publicly, with like 50 people in there at the time. And so, I just removed the message, and I just said, hey, listen, like, you know a lot about me. Unfortunately, you already told me who you are because you were a public person. If you want to hurt me, like if you want to actually make me upset, you're going to need to commit a felony. You're going to go to prison. Like I am very this sounds terrible, but I'm privileged in that I live in a place where I can get help from the law and I know how to do it because I was a part of it for a long time. And you're going to go to prison and you're going to go to court and you're going to pay a lot of money for it. So you need to think long and hard if it's worth going to prison over trying to upset me, because that's what it will take. And then it left. Never happened again. Some people, it's going to get worse. I mean, it's going to get worse for me. Wow. People have found my address. I have had to remove my family's information online several times, my girlfriend's information several times, and her family's. I've had to do all sorts of stuff to protect it, and it won't work entirely. When I go to Twitch cons, there'll be issues, I'm sure. But you know,
what do you do when I mean, they have your address, your family's at, like, how I mean, that's horrible. How are you not, like, I don't know. How do you react to it? How do you deal with that? Like, that's so scary. That's terrifying.
Games, bro. Like, most of these guys aren't, like, it's all bark, no bite, and I don't it doesn't bother me. There's some scary ass people in the world. You need to be careful because that's why I take the steps, is there's some terrifying people out there, and I know some of them that are interested in me. What I do is I mean, I've got security cameras. I've got a gated community. I'm very thankful for. My family does as well. I've got a gun. Like,
I was about to just ask, are you armed? Yeah.
Yep.
You're in Nevada, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I'm not trying to get your address away, but I'm like,
no. Yeah.
It's a different culture over there. Yeah.
Totally legal. I mean, everything's registered and like know what's up. I've got a gun safe for it, and I've got a Glock next to my bedside, and I've been, you know, I've dealt with it for a while. I understand that that's the risk, but I see people way bigger than me not like losing everything over this. So like, I just don't think that I'm going to be the exception. And if I am, like, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I doubt it. I'll be very surprised if they're able to actually like do something permanent to me, but I'm not worth it. Frankly, I'm not big enough to be worth that.
You might get some good press out of it. I don't know. Maybe stage an event like, what's his name? Jesse Smollett. Just like, a guy just showed up at my house. You'll be on CNN.
Yeah, there you go.
His name is the Yoinks on twitch.tv. And all the entire world, you know.
I'll do it. I'll wear a mask and everything. We'll plan it out. It'll be great. But
we'll send Ty and Justice, you know, just
right. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Go stage an event.
Put us up to it. Somebody mentioned like playing with other. What's the community of Tarkov like? You did mention you did play some tournaments and stuff like that. Is there a big Tarkov community and big like tournament community and teams and if so, like, what is that community like? What's that been like talking and interacting with all those guys?
I say something unpopular, but I say something popular, which is Tarkov is not competitive ready, and it probably never will, like a Fortnite game or like a COD game, because there's issues with the servers. It's a beta game that it was actually a passion project that really blew up past what they expected it to be. They're already working on recreating the base game in a competitive environment, and they're recoding it from scratch in order to do so. So I've come to accept that if they can't figure it out, I'm not going to. It's not going to happen. There is a competitive Tarkov team. They put on tournaments themselves, and they have a competitive team. The unpopular opinion I have that I've said before, and I know the lady that owns them, and I have great respect for her and what she does for the community. It's kind of ridiculous to say there's a competitive Tarkov team in a game without real tournaments that are fair and without a team game. It's not either of those things. It's very silly to me. It's more
kind of like the European Super League.
Yeah, you know, it's people saying that they've got something going on that's not, and that's fine. It sounds good. It's exciting for them, but it's not really there. The tournaments are for fun. It's a community event. The community is fucking awesome. Tarkov has a lot of women creators that the community is generally very good to. I'm very proud of the fact that, like, people know in my chat, if I catch them being sexist or some shit somewhere else, they'll just get banned in my community too. Like that's a lot of people that the way, and people expose that shit pretty often. Like, hey, this guy's actually a piece of shit. Look at what he was saying in this person's chat when he killed him. And then they will get demolished. They will get wiped if they decide to spend their time trying to tear people down for things like that. So I'm really proud of the community. It's a little bit older of a community, I think, because the game's so punishing. It requires a little more patience than maybe Fortnite, where you just load back into a game. And that's helped a bit.
Very cool.
So I know you kind of
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, just real quick, answer this. I know you mentioned Final Fantasy and Crash Bandicoot, but was there a game that you fell in love with? Like, all of a sudden, it wasn't something you do for fun; it became an obsession.
League of Legends was the one. I played that for like 3 years. I grinded my ass off. Yeah, okay. Billy. Dan, it was a good question. I saw that earlier. Yeah, Billy and Adam. That's a good one. League of Legends, I got addicted to for a long time on my little laptop. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Even tried to get me into it, but it didn't take as well for me.
We did our best.
But actually, yeah, that's a good. I mean, I personally was never like it's hard for me to play those types of games, right? Where it's like you're looking over and stuff. It's not a console game. So. What's the grab for you in playing those types of games? And I know Tarkov is very much more console-ish, as far as third person and all that. But what got you into, like, I know you're into League forever, so why that type of style of gaming?
I think that I got into League because when I was younger, I played the FPSs on console, and I guess maybe Modern Warfare 2 is the first one because I was grinding that a lot now that I think about it. But League of Legends, I definitely put more time into in total. But I kind of got tired of FPSs after that point. I wasn't interested in it, and that's where most of the competition was, like Counter-Strike or something, or Call of Duty. So that just kind of like wiped those games out of my curiosity for a while until I came back to them and fell in love all over again. Yeah. I think it was almost a matter of luck that I found a way to do my competitive stuff, improve at something that I felt like controlled, and I could like actively say, oh, I made this mistake and this was the outcome, so here's how I fix it. Like self-improvement was a big part of why I loved League of Legends, because I could break it down and analyze it.
Right. Did you ever play World of Warcraft? That somebody asked.
I played that for like 6 months like a maniac. I played like old school RuneScape forever, like before it was old school RuneScape, it was just RuneScape. And then I played WoW for 6 months, like 12 hours a day, like Lich King era, like went deep into it with the guilds and the raids and shit. And then I don't know what happened. I just kind of got tired after like 2 accounts or something like that.
So that's interesting because when I really got into gaming and, everyone's like, hey, careful about World of Warcraft because once you play it will take your life away. And I have an addictive personality. And I actually did decide not to play it because I was like, you know what I mean? Because I was in college, I was doing well, and I'm like, it kind of scared me the way people described it because it was so huge. South Park at the time did a whole episode about it. I was like, damn, it's got to be really good then. It
was real. I mean, that MMOs in general, where you've got thousands and thousands of people to tell you that it's okay to do what you're doing because they're doing it too. Like, and it's just infinite amounts of content. It's not like the same game that you're playing over and over like a COD game. It's literally like just an unimaginable amount of things to look at and do with other people that are always going to be different and stuff, and seemingly endless amount of people so that you can never get comfortable. It's just so easy to get, especially if you have an addictive personality, just to dive headfirst.
Go headfirst into it. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, that, and we talked a little bit about, obviously, you have an audience that expects you play Tarkov. They're watching for Tarkov. If you were to move away and do any other games, what are you thinking about? What would you want to do?
Yeah, I've asked that to myself like 10 times because I keep thinking like, how do I prepare for my next steps? And I just don't have an answer. I just don't have a game that I could. The ones that I would love to play, one is called Rust. It's like a survival-ish game, not good for streaming. Okay. It's like it's literally a constant game. Like the server never goes down, and so your stuff's always at risk. So if people know you're streaming and they see you get off, it's like, okay, well, now I'm just going to come over and screw everything up. So you can't do that really to great success unless you want to be like a YouTube creator or something.
Yeah.
And that's not the same for me. I love the interaction. I love being able to talk with people actively. So I honestly have no idea. I'm going to try and branch out in every direction, hope a new game comes out that fits this mold for me, and keep it moving that way.
Well, let me ask this. Speaking of branching out, our creator's asking a question. Someone asked something similar earlier. Are you into comic book stuff, DC, Marvel, Star Wars? I know you said your brother's into Star Trek. Other nerddom, I guess.
Yeah, I've watched, I enjoy superhero movies. I like Marvel. I like the Batman movies. I am not good at watching movies. I have not seen many in my life. I'm really bad about keeping it with pop culture because these days...
You're the opposite of Adam because Adam says he doesn't have the attentions for games.
Yeah, I am constantly stuck in this world right now to the point where if I were to actually focus on a movie, I'd have to cut back on something else to do it.
Yeah. Just dedicated to it, I guess you couldn't watch the Snyder Cut. That's 4 hours.
I want to at some point. I've seen some of your guys' stuff because Austin's obviously talked about it before, and I was.
That's
interested.
How we all met. Yeah,
that's awesome.
We're big Snyder Cut people over here. But yeah, like you said, it's 4 hours, and when you're, you've dedicated yourself to this, obviously, and you're doing incredibly well. You're making money off of it. I don't see any reason why you would want to stop and watch a movie, to be honest.
It's addicting. I have an addictive personality, and I'm addicted.
But it goes back to what you said, that if you want to focus on it, you're going to have to even cut stuff that you like doing in life, out. And that's severe dedication,
Yeah.
My Netflix shows, like, I loved them. I used to, like, BoJack Horseman's one of my favorite shows of all time, and I that was the last one I watched too, because I just had to stop. Like, I just can't focus on all of those things at the same time.
But is there ever a day that comes at, like, let's say you say you do 7 days a week sometimes, you're just like, I don't feel like doing it today.
Oh yeah,
that's got to happen, and then you're like, you got to put, I compare it to maybe exercising, like, you don't want to do it, but you have to almost, and I think that's the hard. They always say that motivation is easy, discipline is hard, or something like that. Habit is hard. It's easy to get motivated about something, to do it for a couple of weeks, and then you're like, hell with it.
Yeah, you have to be willing to, when you're sick, when your body hurts, when things are going wrong in your life. Mm-hmm. There's sometimes, like, where my family will be going through something horrible. I can't help it. Like, if ever I could be there for my family before, I'll cut the stream immediately and be gone. Yeah. And I have before, and it's zero thought. But unless there's something I can actively do to improve a situation or be there for somebody, when I feel horrible on the inside or whatever it is, keep moving. Like, that's you want this that bad? Okay, well, do it when it sucks. Do the editing when you're tired after an 8-hour stream and you just got off, and all you want to do is like smoke a bowl or get a drink or just lie down. No, I got to be consistent. Social media needs this. Damn it. So I'm gonna. It
kind of reminds me of something that happened a couple of days ago. My mom usually gets home around from work when I'm doing this with the guys, and she's like, "What if there's an emergency? I need you." I'm like, "Well, then call the police."
Call the police, Mom.
I was like, "Call the police!" Like, there's a fire in the house. Call the police.
And it's hard until you're like literally making enough money to support yourself doing it for people to take it seriously. They don't realize it takes a year or more of doing it for basically no reward to get to a point where maybe you can. So you have to fall in love with that process, and you have to say, like, this is going to be a big ass commitment. You can make it without that.
Grind. You got to
grind.
It's
hard. Yeah. It's impossible.
And the other thing I see a lot with you too is you're very transparent with your community. You have your community, and you're very open. If something's going on, you let them know, and they're all cool with it. If there's not a stream that day, and that's something that I find very unique about you, is that you're very open, you're very transparent, and I think your community, finds that interesting as well. So do you think that's something that's kind of been a benefit that you've seen kind of be a benefit to all this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in order to connect with people, like in order to have an emotional, like actual connection with someone over the internet, I have to be a person to do it, So if I'm constantly just, bro, life is fantastic, dude, like nothing ever could go wrong, eventually people are going to recognize after every day of that 7 days a week, like, I'm not feeling happy today, and apparently he always is, and I can't connect with that. Like, everybody has horrible times in their life or horrible days or whatever it is, and you have to be willing to say, and I do it, I'm like, guys, honestly, terrible day yesterday. I'm excited to fucking put that in the back of my mind for right now and distract myself and throw myself into this shit. But so just thank you guys for being here, because I need it too. And like, I hope if you're going through some shit, we can all just have a laugh in the middle of crying or whatever together. And it helps. Being honest is important for that. Obviously, if your content turns into you just venting to your community, that's not, you're not giving somebody, you still have to provide.
Listen, there's some negative people out there who just feed on that. They just want to watch. Like that guy, not to get political, that guy just died, Rush Limbaugh. He was kind of like that. He was ticked off, and you were ticked off, and you wanted to hear him make you feel good about feeling ticked off. Like that kind of, that negative cycle. Unfortunately, the internet is rife with it, unfortunately.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, we've, there's like a lot to cover.
I don't know if I should post this, but I'll do it. This happened to our creator a couple of weeks ago. We were doing a live show with a guest that he had procured. And right in the middle of it, he got news about his mom, and he had to leave right in the middle of it. And so, but he's constantly just our creator. He's always like
working on it.
There's always things that take precedence. Like I said, there's times I've cut streams right away when my dad or mom needed me or my family or something. And like, that's the right thing to do. What he did is because there's things that are beyond the brand to any of us. Like the people in our lives that we need to show love for is beyond it. And if you're not going to do a good job at the end of the day, then you can't do it. You need to either find a way to be in a good space enough to commit to it, or you need to take that time, feel those feelings, process that shit. That's the smart move. Like, fucking, I'm really sorry to hear that shit.
Yeah, that was. But like you said, some things are more important to the brand. That's family and things like that. I mean, like we talked about earlier, I feel like we barely got to serve. There's like a whole. We could talk about like mock trial. I feel like for the whole hour as well. That was something that we did for a bit. I kind of wanted to bring it up because I did think for a second you would for sure be a lawyer. What out of curiosity, what made you like finally decide? Because you were pursuing it for a minute, and I was like, dude, this dude's I can't wait. I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble as a celebrity, and I'm gonna call him, and I'm gonna be so fine.
It doesn't help that you guys live in Vegas either,
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Plenty of trouble.
Yeah.
But Go ahead.
I basically, I was committed to it. I went into mock trial competitions. I was the #1 rated attorney in a high school competition my first year. I brought my team to states and then nationals and did fantastic there and got recognition. I went to college, and my first year that I was there, I was their sponsorship coordinator, and I was a closing attorney for their team. And then I quit in the middle of that because basically I realized after I'd interned with my sister, who's a lawyer, I'd interned with people locally in Reno. I did some lawyer work for Trial by Peers, and I recognized, holy shit, you got to be willing to do some stuff that I don't want to do if you want to make it. I'm too competitive to also be perfectly honest in this field. And that was a really shitty realization for me. I was like, I'm going to have to decide between success and competition or my morals sometimes. And I wasn't willing to do it. And so I said, I got to find something else to do.
Have you ever thought of maybe finishing your law degree and maybe you could become a lawyer? Gaming is kind of new as what you're doing, Twitch, online sponsors. There might be a need for someone who understands that world and is a lawyer. Because you hire a lawyer, they're going to have to figure out what is the gaming world? What is Twitch? You could probably be at the forefront of that, if that makes sense,
There's actually a guy on Twitter, I think, called the Gamer Lawyer. Like, obviously, there's not many of them, but you're right. Like, this is the perfect example of a niche that would be providable because Twitch, whatever else platform, has the need for law because at the end of the day, these are multi-million or billion-dollar companies. They've got legal teams that are like armies deep. If YouTube or Google wants to get something done legally, or Amazon with Jeff Bezos, like, it's going to happen, and there needs to be a defense for creators. I don't think I'm the guy for the job. I think that I could do it, and I would probably have to sacrifice too much for it, and I would become resentful, and I'd rather support the people that I think have a passion for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's good people that do it, and what they do is they take cuts and they hold themselves to their morality, and they're capable of that. And I guess I honestly don't think that I am like mature enough to be happy and do those things. I need to find a sphere where I can try my hardest always and always achieve success, and also feel good about the things that I do to get there.
But see, I also think that's incredibly like commendable as well. That you're able to make those decisions and stuff. Billy does not like Bezos. But we'll put that one up there. But
don't say that too loud. I'm getting a package from Amazon. They listen through these devices, so
right there.
I love Jeff Bezos. I love Prime.
Twitch is great. Yeah. Prime subs
talking in my phone.
Right. Well, man, dude, I really appreciate you coming on today, talking about all this. There's there's so much. There's so much that we could talk about, like our nipple rings, but we won't get into that.
What? No. Hold on. Stop. All right, tell us about the nipple rings. No.
I'll have to come back for that. It's too long a story for
that.
All right, okay, you are coming back. You have to come back for that.
Absolutely down. You guys have been awesome, and if there's anything I can support, this is a great show. I've enjoyed everything I've seen from it. You got a rad community. Thanks. Everyone that's been commenting has been super invested and interesting. Had great questions for it.
And look, you're a great guest. You know why? Because they stuck around. Not all of them are gamers. But they're interested. If that's why I said that's a sign of a good guest. If it's a topic you don't really know about, like Adam was saying, he's not really a gamer, but they stick around and listen. That means they're learning something. And I always say, that's what we got to be about. We got to educate or help educate ourselves and others about the industry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
here we go. Get the Star Trek thing. Yeah, so get me in touch with your brother, or tell Austin, and I'd love to have it because I'd like to do a lot of Star Trek coming up, and I'd like to do old Trek versus new Trek and hear what his thoughts are about new Star Trek.
You'll love him. I'll absolutely do that.
All right, guys.
Hey, real quick,
you close it up. Yeah.
Kennedy, you want to go ahead and let us know you're about to do a stream, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be streaming tonight at Twitch TV The Yoinks. After this, I'm gonna go take care of my family stuff, my editing, all the other background shit that I got to take care of. Feed myself, do my yoga. I'm gonna be live in about 3 or 4 hours tonight playing Tarkov, and I got you can look up the Yoinks TTV. I think someone actually posted the link tree in chat, which was really kind of them. I post daily, twice a day on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I have a Discord server where I just hang out and chat with people when they show up, and anyone's welcome to just come and ask questions or hop on a voice call with me anytime. So, but I'm super thankful that you guys let me do this because this has been fucking awesome.
Yeah, this is fun, man. We're definitely have you back. And guys, thank you in the chat. Thank you for all the engagement. We really appreciate you. Go check him out tonight in a couple hours. Twitch.tv/theyoinks. Again, Kennedy, thank you so much for coming.
Real quick, Kennedy, do you have a Patreon page of any kind?
Nope, nothing. Okay. I have, the Twitch. You can there's donations through that or subscriptions through that. But honestly, I've only just started being even willing to monetize it because that wasn't what it was about before. It was just fun.
His OnlyFans is coming soon though, so be on the lookout.
Feet pics are gonna be tight, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Keep these shit manicured up, bro. We got petties coming.
All right, guys. Listen. His links are in the description below. Maybe we have patrons. In fact, let's thank our patrons real quick. Caden Reed, Nick DePalma, Billy Robert, That One Carlos, new and added, Adam Silvestri. In fact, ODD, we want to thank him. And if you guys are interested, his Twitch has a donation page, so look into that. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with TY's Corner. We want to thank our guests. I want to thank all of you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and maybe become a patron. Remember, we do it for you, and we do it for the culture.
We are brought to you today by Showcase Cinemas Deluxe. Right now, Mortal Kombat is in theaters, and we were live from inside the theater for all-day coverage of the film on April 23rd. Make sure to get out and support your local theaters now. See these larger-than-life movies the way they were intended, on the largest screen possible. Showcase offers X+, which is their large premium format theater. Not only do you see and hear the film, but you become a part of it as well. Find out where your local Showcase Cinemas is by heading to their website, www.showcasecinemas.com. Again, that's www.showcasecinemas.com, or by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, be Showcase safe. Showcase has implemented several protocols to ensure that your focus remains on the film, not on the pandemic, including new ventilation systems in each theater to ensure proper airflow, sanitizer on every wall, and so much more. Enjoy the movie the way it was meant to be, with a night out to the theater.
And we're not done yet because I forgot tomorrow morning. I almost forgot. I hope everyone didn't leave. I think we got all 7 of you.
There's a post-credit scene, everybody.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scene. Listen, tell us what's happening tomorrow. You got a big guest.
We are interviewing Mr. Sam Benjamin.
You're doing what?
Yeah, interviewing.
No, okay. Just the way you said
interviewing. We're interviewing Mr. Sam Benjamin from Peaky Blinders, and he had a role in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Mm-hmm. So that will be tomorrow at 10 Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, that's going to be kind of exciting. Yep. He was actually in the Snyder Cut. So, guys, if you're Snyder fans, you might want to ask him about that because he was in a lot of that cut footage. So that could be a really interesting story because, he probably watched Justice League and is like, where the hell am I? Where am I? Mom, I brought his family, his aunts, his uncles, and he's not in it. And he's like, where am I?
Gone.
So,
gone.
Interviewing, are we Sam Benjamin? Yeah. Post credit. Yeah. We should do
Works.
post-credit skits. Maybe we should do that instead of those stupid intros I do.
Right,
we should
might,
do a post-credit
we might not keep the intro and do a post-credit.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we go post-credit stream. Yeah.
You never know. Might tease Thanos or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that'll be 7 a.m. on the West Coast, right?
Yep.
And then, folks, you have the internet. If you're in not one of those time zones, just calculate what time that'll be for you. For example, on the East Coast, it's 7:10. What time is it for you? 4?
On the East, 4:10.
4:10. So 3 hours. So if you're in the middle, just figure out where you are. Or if you're overseas, check it out. The morning pod is really fun.
That's right.
So,
we are not getting rid of the intro skit. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right, guys. All right. We'll see you. And then tomorrow night, TY's Corner. All right. See you guys. Bye.